that you have a superpower? Did you? Superpowers are not for the Avengers, it's not for the Fantastic Four. No. As a leader, you have a superpower, and your superpower is your tone of voice. Now, if you are in your leadership journey as a woman in leadership and you feel like there is something that's not connecting, I guarantee you your tone of voice and how you speak to other people has a lot to do with it. In this video, I'm going to share with you why your tone of voice is your superpower and how this superpower can be used to elevate and to enhance the impact that you're trying to make in your particular industry, in your business, to the world. So if this sounds like a topic that sounds interesting to you and you want to know how you can unlock your superpower to show it off to everyone else, then watch this video in its entirety. You do not want to miss this video because I'm going to share with you how you can use your tone of voice to either elevate or take away from your message as a leader. Now, this channel focuses solely on leadership and communicating at a very, very advanced and high level. If you are either at the beginning of your leadership journey, the middle of your leadership journey, or perhaps you're at the end of your leadership journey, then this is the place you want to be. People become great by how they communicate. And if you are wanting to elevate how you are conducting yourself as a professional, this is the place for you to be. Now, my main target audience that I work with in terms of my clients are women in leadership. However, if you are a man in leadership, this is a great place for you to be as well. I've noticed on my platforms, I have men and women that are present, and I appreciate every single one of you being here. I know that even if you're not my target audience, you are very passionate about how you want to showcase yourself in your career, and so I'm here to support you on your journey. Now, if you're watching this portion of the video, you are watching the replay, and I'm so excited to have you present. I do want to say that typically with the lives, there are usually people that are joining. And when they join, give me just a few moments to greet them and say hello to everyone. And then we'll get right into how your tone of voice is your leadership superpower. Are you ready? This is going to be fantastic. It's going to be very exciting. I'm going to give you a couple strategies and showcase to you how your tone of voice can sound different to different people. So I want to say hello. Hope on Tree 2. Hello, hope you're doing well today. Welcome, glad you're here today. And if you want to unlock your superpowers as a leader by knowing how to modify your tone of voice, then you absolutely want to stay for this live. You're going to learn a skill that is going to absolutely help you stand out amongst your peers and communicate at a higher level. So if you're ready to speak like a pro, then you want to stay on this channel today. And you're welcome to subscribe if you like the information so far. Let me know what part of this big, beautiful world you are joining from today so I can say hello to you before I get into some very, very helpful content for you today. So I wanted to say Popon Tree 2. Hello, I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're doing well. If you have any questions as it relates to communicating at a higher level as a leader, let me know in the comments below. And I appreciate you so much for subscribing and liking the video. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. So, yes, you do have a superpower. You have an amazing superpower that you have overlooked. You're just like any other superhero that may have an average life and then they wake up one day and they realize, I have a superpower. Your superpower is your tone of voice. And let me share with you why this is your superpower. Many people that are leaders, they underestimate how their tone of voice can make them either sound very, very boring, or how their tone of voice can add energy to a conversation and immediately start drawing people to you and start to build your charisma, start to build your executive presence, all of those very higher level skills that we talk about here on this channel. So your tone of voice is your superpower. This is not only just for people in leadership, this is for any conversation you have. How you either elevate or lower your tone of voice will either make people want to laugh or take you seriously, or make people not want to take you seriously at all. So I'm going to share with you a couple of ways you can use your tone of voice in a leadership setting. And you let me know which tone of voice do you like the most. And I will explain to you the difference between the three. Now, before I do that, I want to go to the chat. So Popon Tree says, Chew, says you are really pretty. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your compliment. I'm just glad you're here and you're a part of our group to learn more about how to communicate at a higher level. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 lines, and I'm going to say them in 3 different ways. And I want you to let me know, if I was communicating to you as a leader, which of these 3 ways I'm using my tone of voice would you like to hear from me from? So, what is it? Let me know. So let me say hello to Dev Blend Z. Hello, welcome. Glad you're here today. Feel free to let me know where you're joining from. All right, so my first tone of voice. Okay, this is how you can use your tone of voice as your superpower. The first tone of voice is going to be the following. Okay, you ready? I'm going to share with you, if you want to sound irritated and annoyed, then this is the tone of voice you want to use. You ready? Can you please hand me this report? And leave it at that. Now, did I sound like I was being friendly? No. I sounded like I was annoyed. So if you have a situation that comes up and you have somebody that's just constantly bothering you, then maybe you have to adjust your tone of voice. What did I do to my tone of voice? My tone of voice, I made it sound very aggravated, just like, just kind of have to remind yourself like, I feel frustrated. And I use that to show this person that I'm very, very annoyed with what is being said. Now, before I go into the second way you can use your tone of voice to sound very boring, let me see what's going on in the chat. So Dev Blend Z, I'm in Northwest Florida. Okay, fantastic. Welcome. I am in South Florida, actually. So glad to see another Floridian here on the live. Feel free to ask me any questions as it relates to communicating as a leader, trying to communicate at a higher level, or if you've dealt with some really challenging and complex situations in your professional journey, let me know. I'll provide you with some insight while I'm here on the live today. Now, if you want to sound flat and boring, this is not the way you want to use your superpower. You don't want to use your tone of voice like this, but I'm going to show you what flat and boring sounds like, okay? So remember, I'm using the same phrase in different ways. So this is flat and boring. This is what you don't want to do with your superpower. Can you please get this report for me? Why do you not want to do that? Because your audience, the people you're communicating with, are going to think you're just boring. And if you are following my channel or subscribe to my channel, you know I want you to be the most energetic, charismatic person, leader there is in the planet. And you do not want to use your tone of voice in a way that's very flat and boring. Why do I mention flat and boring? Because many leaders speak this way. They speak in a very flat and boring type of way. And this is the reason why people struggle when they are in these leadership roles, because they are wondering, I'm talking to my team, I'm communicating with them, but I don't understand why they're not listening to me. Why are they not listening to me? Well, they're not listening to you because you're not using your superpower correctly. You have to use your superpower correctly. If you're using your tone of voice in a very bland, flat way, nobody wants to hear that. That's not exciting. They're thinking to themselves, oh, well, who cares what he has to say, or who cares what she has to say? I'm going to do whatever I want to do anyways. So if you are struggling with your team and you're wondering why they're not listening to you, I'm telling you, you're not using your superpower correctly. So you want to make sure you're not speaking in a very flat tone of voice, because it will just make everyone want to do what? Take a nap and not even listen to what you have to say. And I don't want you to do that. So make sure you don't use your tone of voice in that way. Now, before I go into the third way you can use your tone of voice, let me see what's going on in the chat. I love Summer. Welcome. How you doing today? Glad to see you. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have as it relates to how to communicate at that higher level. If you've been trying to communicate in a more concise way and you want some help and you have a scenario that's happened to you, then let me know in the comments below. Today we're talking about how your tone of voice can be your superpower, and I'm showing you ways to use your superpower and not use your superpower. So we talked about sounding irritated as the first way. If you sound irritated, then your team automatically feels very standoffish and they don't want to talk to you and ask you anything. So you don't want to sound irritated when you are communicating with your team. You don't want to sound flat and boring either, because if you're flat and boring, then nobody wants to listen to what you have to say. That is not the way you want to use your superpower. Now, this is the more upbeat, positive way that you should use your superpower to add a little bit of energy to the conversation you have with your team. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Can you please provide me this report? Or can you please give me this report? How did I sound? I sounded very energetic. I said please. I didn't sound like I was annoyed. I didn't sound like I was boring. I sounded like I had a little bit of energy. Can you please give me this report? And you can add a smile to it. That lightens your tone of voice also. This is how you want to communicate with your team. Now, there's times, and there's several videos on my channel where I talk about how you can strategically lower your voice to make it sound more serious when you have a serious topic or serious discussion that you need to have with your team. But typically as a leader, your tone of voice should be very elevated, should be very, very upbeat and very energetic. Because remember, if you're trying to influence, if you're trying to persuade other people to either adapt or want to learn more about your point of view, it is difficult to do that if you do not have some energy in your voice. Now, if this is something that you've struggled with and you are perhaps saying, this is just the way that I talk. I just talk this way and I don't know how to add energy to my voice or etc. That's okay. That's why you can reach out to me, look in the description below, and sign up for a strategy session. It is complimentary. It is an opportunity for you and I to have a conversation about where you are, where you want to be, and how we can add some more energy, add some more charisma to your voice when you are speaking to other people. Now, I've shared with you, you have a superpower. And this superpower is a secret superpower that you probably don't know that you have. And if you are at a point in your career where you are trying to truly elevate yourself and go to that next level in your career, then you want to use your superpower, and that is your tone of voice. Your tone of voice will automatically add seriousness. It can add levity. It can add humor. It can make you sound like an executive, all in one tone of voice. So this is why your tone of voice is your superpower, because you literally can change the dynamic, the impact of your message just by the way you use your tone of voice. So I mentioned to you, I shared with you 3 ways you can use your tone of voice. And you don't want to use your tone of voice in an irritated way unless you're purposely wanting to show someone you're annoyed, which there may be a strategic time for you to do that, but we'll talk about that in another video. Or if you're wanting to sound very boring, then you don't want to do that either. That's not the way to engage your team, and that's definitely not the best use of your superpower. The best use of your superpower is to sound very positive, very upbeat, and very excited to be there. When you're excited, your team feels your excitement. When you're boring, your team is bored, and everybody wants to go take a nap, as I mentioned to you a moment ago. And we don't want you to do that. If you're watching this video and subscribe to my channel, you know that I do not want you to be the boring person. You are going to be the person that stands out from everybody else when you're communicating. And this is the reason why you are subscribed to my channel. Now, I do want to say that we've covered several topics this week that have been very, very helpful. And give me just a second. I just got to move my foot here. I was going to sleep. So there's a lot of things we covered this week. We talked about how to really communicate at a higher level. What do you do when your boss steals your idea? And some of the topics that I discussed this week are topics from you. And I appreciate you all so much for these topics. Please let me know if you have any other topics that you want to learn more information about as it relates to being a woman in leadership or on your leadership journey. Even if you are a man in leadership, feel free to let me know what are some topics, what are some challenges that you are struggling with that you want to learn how to manage. I typically deal with the more complicated communication type of situations, which is why I am an executive coach and a communication strategist. I'm here to help you develop a strategy in terms of how you're communicating with other people so that it comes across in a very impactful, very genuine, authentic type of way. And if you want some support with this, then let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know what are some struggles that you're having right now. I'd be happy to help you on your journey and be able to really communicate at that higher level than your peers. Now, if this information has been helpful to you and you have learned that your voice truly is your superpower, then I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I talk more about communication skills and more advanced level communication skills here on my channel because I want everyone that is watching to become those amazing leaders that we need in the world today. People become great by how they communicate. So I want to make sure I'm unlocking that greatness within you and then also helping you to realize your superpower is your tone of voice and to help you develop into that leader that you want to be. I want you to be the person that stands out from everybody else. I don't want you to be that person that blends in the crowd, that just goes along with everything and that is not recognizable in a group. I want you to be that person that everyone looks to for inspiration, for admiration, and you do that by how you communicate and how you speak and by covering your superpower, which is your tone of voice. So I hope that this information has been helpful to you. I know this is a Friday evening. I'm sure you all have many, many wonderful things that you are planning to do this weekend. I have some very exciting news business-wise. I have a new business cell phone that I'm going to be having listed in different places on my social media platforms. So if you like this content here on YouTube, feel free to be able to follow me at Excite Excellence on Instagram and then also at Dr. Jacinta Lamantai for now on LinkedIn. I will be posting the phone number there. You're welcome to text me if you have some questions specifically to really help you get to that next level. And I'm also going to be doing a bit more as it relates to podcasting. So I plan on launching a podcast here very, very soon, and I will provide you with the details on that, the name of the podcast, and when I plan on recording episodes. It is going to be a fun podcast, and I want it to be a podcast where you have the ability to listen to other people who have been in those leadership roles like I have been in, that have been either directors or CEOs or C-suites like myself or managers or supervisors that have been in different leadership challenges. And I want to showcase how they have used communication to overcome some of those challenges. Because oftentimes on YouTube and on different platforms, when people talk about leadership and they talk about communication, sometimes it is more focused on theories and models and hypotheses, and that's not real life sometimes. In real life, there's real situations that happen. And I want to be able to support you all on your journey by not only providing you with my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a director and a manager and a public speaker and an executive coach, but I also want to bring in the perspective of other individuals that have experience also that can provide you with some insight in terms of how you manage some of those very complicated situations that happen in the wonderful world of leadership. So podcast is coming very, very soon. My business cell phone number, I'm going to be releasing that very soon for my business inquiries and for individuals that are serious about trying to really elevate themselves in their careers. So all of that's coming out within the next, I would say, business cell phone number. That's going to be rolling out this weekend. And then the podcast, hopefully by the middle of September or by the end of September, I plan on hopefully launching my very first episode. So there's a lot of movement going on in the business. I appreciate you all for being just so supportive and being present here on the channel and engaging with me and asking me questions. I'm really here to support you and I want to help you as best I can. Let me know what topics you want to learn more about. I will do a video just for you as it relates to your specific topic or whatever it is that you're dealing with as a challenge as a individual that is in a leadership role. So I'm looking forward to supporting you. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. If you have anything that you want some insight on or want to learn more about in terms of how to communicate at a higher level and stand out from everybody else as a leader, subscribe below. and let me know in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Next week, I go live Tuesday through Friday. For those of you who are new to my channel, you will catch me live Tuesday through Friday. So it really is an opportunity for me to share some insights with you that can help you accelerate your career growth, and to also be present to help you answer any questions that you may have. We've talked about many things on the channel. We have talked about a lot. And so I appreciate you all for being here and being present. And I'm looking forward to supporting you on your journey. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.